Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steph Curry makes NBA history versus Lakers. Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry went off versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry finished with 32 points, 8 assists, 3 steals, and 6 threes on Thursday night versus the Los Angeles Lakers, becoming the oldest player in NBA history with that line or better in a game, via Basketball Reference's stat head. This wasn't the only history Curry made in this game, as he became the first player in Warriors franchise history to record 6,000 assists, still playing at an elite level just a few weeks away from his 36th birthday. Curry remains one of the very best players in the entire NBA. Entering this game against the Lakers, Curry was averaging 28.0 ppg and 5.0 apg on 46/42/92 splits. Those numbers will all go up with this impressive showing, as Curry had already eclipsed his ppg and apg averages by the end of the third quarter. While the Warriors have been playing better as a team of late, they have still been very reliant on the greatness of Curry. This is not unusual for teams to lean heavily on their best player, but the Warriors have gotten very inconsistent production outside of Curry for most of this season, which has placed even more responsibility on the superstar point guard. This game against the Lakers was a huge one for the Warriors, as they entered at 1.5 games back of Los Angeles in the standings. The Lakers and Warriors are 9th and 10th in the Western Conference standings, which would set up a win-or-go-home play-in game between them if the standings were to remain like this. Draymond Green sounds off on key that unlocked Warriors' scary form after Lakers win. Draymond Green gives credit to the Golden State Warriors' young players. The Golden State Warriors are building momentum. With a 128-110 win over the Los Angeles Lakers on Thursday, the team has now won 8 out of its last 10 games. Following their most recent victory, forward Draymond Green had very uplifting post-game comments about the team, particularly the younger players. "I think we're on a great trajectory," Green said, in an interview with NBC Sports Bay Area's Zena Keita. "You always hope your young guys take a step in the right direction, and as we can see, Jonathan Kuminga, BP, Brandon Podziemski, Moses, Moody, Tracy, Jackson Davis, those young guys, they've unlocked this team. I think the possibilities are endless. I think this team has an unlimited amount of potential and we're trending in the right direction at the right time." All the names that Draymond Green mentioned played quality minutes on Thursday's outing. Jackson Davis, in particular, finished with 17 points on 8 of 10 shooting from the floor. Kuminga and Podziemski also tallied double digits in scoring as well, 12 and 10 points, respectively. Their performances were a big help to superstar Stephen Curry, who shined bright with 32 points and 6 three-pointers, to go with 8 assists for the Warriors. After 11 lead changes throughout the first half, Golden State took control late in the second quarter and never looked back. Curry himself already had 25 points and 5 threes by halftime, adding to his latest string of hot shooting games. The 35-year-old has now made 6 or more three-pointers for the 5th time in the Warriors' last 6 games. This season, Curry is averaging 28.1 points and 5.1 assists per game. With the two-time MVP and the younger players finding cohesion, Golden State may just make their way up the standings before the regular season ends. Trade option for Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's hard to imagine a star leaving his team after many years there, right? But it's not that rare. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo seems very uncomfortable with the current situation at the Milwaukee Bucks and, therefore, we decided to put together 3 exchange options for him. And it's no different with Giannis Antetokounmpo, who would have much more than 3 exchange options, but the idea is to understand how it could happen. In fact, we're not even thinking that one day he might leave the Bucks. However, when things are difficult and the outlook for the distant future is cloudy, that's where we come in. Let's be very honest, shall we? All of Milwaukee's main players have guaranteed contracts, at most, only until 2024-25. In other words, there is a title window there. And with a new coach, who has already taken a beating from Bobby Portis, everything becomes even more uncertain. The Golden State Warriors have been dreaming of Giannis Antetokounmpo for a long time. So let's see how it could look. The Warriors could be one of the options to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo simply because they have the pieces to make the trade. There's a star going, even though he's not new, Chris Paul, young talents and draft picks. Thus, Chris Paul, Kevin Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody and the picks would arrive at the Bucks. On the other hand, Antetokounmpo would be on the Warriors. You can question the validity of the negotiation due to the fact that Paul is closer to the end of his career, Looney is a guy who gets rebounds, defends, but stays there, and the young people haven't exploded. But there are other details. First, Looney would get the rebounds that Brook Lopez doesn't and they could play alongside each other. Then, two-point guards like Drew Holiday and Paul, defending and organizing, would be a big problem for any opponent. Finally, Kuminga is minutes away from showing his worth. In fact, he did very well while Andrew Wiggins was out due to personal problems. But let's assume the Bucks wouldn't accept something like that. Then, Chris Paul and Jonathan Kuminga would leave and three others would enter, Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton II and freshman Tracy Jackson-Davis. In this case, Milwaukee would receive a player the same age as Antetokounmpo, Wiggins, to absorb Giannis minutes. It would work because the Warriors' winger is very limited by Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson in scoring. As Milwaukee's first offensive option, Wiggins would score more than the 23.6 points he produced in his third year in the NBA. And I'll start by explaining the fact that his shooting is consistent today, 38.6% from the perimeter since arriving at the Warriors, something that didn't happen when he was with the Minnesota Timberwolves, 32.2%. Apart from defending, he knows how to position himself and contributes to the organization of plays. Again, in Golden State, there is a limit to the ball's turnover, while Draymond Green and Curry take up much of that. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation about Giannis Antetokounmpo? Leave your opinion in the comments.